sound therapy, and we have Dr. Alia Datoo. So what are the benefits of sound therapy?
There are several benefits to sound therapy, and you could go all the way from mental relaxation, so bringing into a very calm and relaxed state, to relieving pain in your body, to cellular repair. We've also have studies where sound healing has also helped with IVF as well, as a complementary therapy. Yes.
When people talk about sound therapy, alternative forms of healing methods, so to speak, there's always the fear of unknown, cultism and such. Has this somewhat eroded, people's willingness to get into something like sound therapy, in your opinion?
I'd like to say yes, it has. People are, they always, come and say, is this going to affect our religion? Is this going to, affect our faith? But spirituality has got nothing to do with religion or faith. In fact, it, kind of steers you closer to whatever faith or religion it is that you believe in. What we offer here in terms of alternate therapy doesn't take away from anything that you believe in. In fact, it's more about, you being able to access higher states of consciousness that basically make you more aware of who you really are. So it complements that, yes.
So this form of therapy is complementary, that we can you can go into sound therapy and still do medical or traditional medical treatment.
Yes.
So what does it heal? You've given us a raft of issues, and I'd want to zero in on issues of IVF.
Yes.
How does that come into play?
So if somebody is really stressed, of course, and we're living in times of great stress, right? Stress, of course, affects your hormones. And if you're not relaxed, if you're not in a state of calmness, your hormones as well are going to be stressed. So practices like this, sound therapy being one of them, helps you calm down and relax. And because, sound therapy actually creates a vibration in the body, we are 70% water, it actually helps, put the cells, put the DNA, put all these hormones into alignment.
So now, and then who can actually get into sound therapy? Because traditional medicine, we see that there's medicine that is not, you cannot prescribe, as a doctor cannot prescribe to a pregnant woman or even to a child or someone who has a pre-existing condition.
Right.
What happens, in the sound therapy space? Is it open for everyone?
It's definitely open to everybody. There are certain contraindications. So, for example, pregnant women with difficult pregnancies, if you've got implants, you've got, the hearing aids, then we tend to, steer away from them. Rather recommended not to have sound therapy because it intensifies the effects of sound healing. The sound, the vibration becomes more intense. And remember, the aim of sound therapy and any other therapy is to leave you better off rather than worse off. So, yeah, we'd say no to these people.
Now, how does sound work, especially where we talk about it affecting the brain?
Right.
Take us down that road.
So, sound basically works on the premise of vibrations and frequencies, right? And like I said earlier, we're made up of 70% water. So these frequencies tend to have different effects on your body. Scientifically, there's something known as brain wave entrainment, which means that the frequencies tend to alter your brain waves, which are again a frequency. And that's how sound is able to alter your brain states, bring down stress, increase your levels of, serotonin, which is a good hormone, and send you into greater states of calm, relaxation, happiness, and joy.
So can we say it's the same benefits that we get from listening to music? There are people who say that music transcends ages. There's those people who say, when I hear this particular frequency, it is actually considered the angel's frequency. Yes? So now, as we get to this point, when someone walks in for this kind of therapy, how do you determine what to play? I can see there are myriads. You have bowls, you have a gong. What informs what you're going to play at that point?
So our sessions are very special because they're intuitive. So we base our session, depending on someone's energy. At the same time, on the intention they are there for. A lot of people come to us because they suffer from insomnia, for example, and they need something to really entrain their brain that can help them sleep better. So we have a different set of, instruments that we play for them. Some people come to us to make us, to help them feel more relaxed and calm. So again, a different set of instruments. Some people come for creativity. They have lost their motivation, they can't get that creative spark in their work. We play differently. So it's all intuitively done.
Intuitive.
Yes.
In terms of gender, who are more open to getting sound therapy, the men or the women?
You'd be surprised. We've had quite a number of gentlemen who visited our studios. because they are the ones, I don't like to use the word suffering, but they are going through a lot of hard times right now.
Okay.
So work-related, relationship-related, family stress, all that put together.
Okay.
We've had a number of people come, gentlemen, who've come for this therapy at our studio. Yeah.
So, well, what does it take? Like, what would it take for me to actually get into sound therapy? Do I need a doctor's prescription, or do I just walk in and, say, I want sound therapy?
Simply walk in and say you want sound therapy.
So it does not need a doctor's prescription?
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the issue of accessibility and affordability, especially when it comes to the healthcare value chain, we've been having a change, transiting from NHIF to SHIF that government is taking on. As a person who's already in this particular value chain, would you want sound therapy actually included to support, or rather to complement, what traditional kind of medical care or medical services?
Absolutely. I mean, it's about time that, our, systems recognize this as also a form of therapy and, start facilitating, ways for general public to be able to access these kind of treatments and therapies. They go a long way in terms of, helping people overcome their disorders or the illnesses. And like I said, they work hand in hand with modern medicine. Modern medicine, for example, would probably work with the ailment, would work with, on the physiology of that disease. This goes a long way in terms of the mental stimulus that you need also to fight or to overcome the diseases as well, or the illnesses.
For you to seek sound therapy, you have to know that it is actually available and you can access it. How are we doing, how far have you come in terms of, breaking that ice when it comes to having information on ground? Have you found it difficult? Have you found it receptive? Are people receptive and open to this alternative form of healing? What has been your experience?
In the beginning, there was a bit of resistance, of course, but then once people start to, understand the benefits, and we have had a lot of people curious about this and wanting to try and come and see how we can help them with, their ailments or their, stress levels and stuff like that. So people are opening up now. People are, opening up to alternate therapies, as we call them. And I think, since, unfortunately, since COVID happened, people have become more open to these kind of things. So, yeah, the response has been great.
A success story when you look back at when you started this. Do you have a story that, you look back with nostalgia and say, but I helped this person or this person's? Maybe you just can give us an overview. What were they struggling
There's
with?
Several stories, Regina. One of my favorite ones to talk about is an elderly person who was struggling with pain, hip pain. He had an old injury and, constantly felt that pain, that irate pain on his hips. And someone just told him, just come and try sound therapy. And he was there. He came for about 1 or 2 sessions. And after that, he looked into my eyes like, I don't feel the pain anymore.
Wow.
I can walk straight. I can sleep on my side. So that was a great moment of, pride and joy and happiness that I could help somebody through sound therapy.
So when we go back in history, even in the African setup, we had healers who would use, earth elements. Sound was one of them, fire, and especially when you talk about sounds, we would use our drums, we'd use our vocals. And throughout history, the Celtics, the Native Americans and such. Is it something that you deliberately went to and studied, or is it a talent that has been passed through your generation, as we've read from history books?
So I'm sure people are going to be surprised when I say this, that everybody has the ability to become a healer or to facilitate healing. We all have it inside of us. I myself come from a family of healers, so it's passed down through generations to me. And I received my calling, to help people through various modalities, and sound is one of them.
Okay.
But of course, to use sound for healing, you need, a certain training to go through, because we're playing with music, we're playing with frequencies, we're playing with combination of notes coming together for different things. You can have notes that, are harmonious, that bring about joy and happiness. You can have notes that are put together that bring about sadness and release, right? So if you look at the technical part, then yes, you do need a bit of training for that. But if you wish to incorporate sound healing as one of your practices for well-being, then it's just a matter of you getting a bowl, learning how to play it, and bringing that into your home.
There's a curious question that was posed on our socials in regard to the mental status of a person seeking sound therapy, that they actually have to be open to the healing. And I'm sure it also has to have, even in traditional healthcare and such.
Yes.
The state of mind, speak to that.
So definitely being open to this, definitely being open, because, for you to be able to, accept the healing, you have to be completely, trusting of the process. When people come to our studios, I normally tell them, trust the process. right? And this isn't a magic fix that's going to fix everything in one session.
So it doesn't happen in one session?
It doesn't. So for some, yes, for some, no. But it takes time. You can't fix one, an ailment that's been with you for a long time in just one session. It takes time. So definitely being open to it. And secondly, trusting the process. And, of course, complementing this along with modern medicine. So not leaving, your normal medication and stuff aside, but including this into your lifestyle. So we are trying to actually get, Kenyans to incorporate sound healing as one of their lifestyle, benefits. So coming in at least once a month for sound therapy, at least once in 6 months. A lot of corporates have now started adopting sound healing as, their practices as well. Yeah.
Now, before I let you go, we want to sample some of the sizes. We don't know what it would heal, but hey, music is still music, isn't it?
It is.
As we walk around, before we let you go, just play something small for us.
Sure.
I'm sure a majority of Kenyans, with the report that we have, is that 33% of Kenyans are angry for one reason or another. So looking at the number of people in studio and those who are watching us, we might just form that part of the demograph. So something calm.
Very calm and soothing.
Yes,
right?
please.
Great. So those of you watching at home, I invite you now to close your eyes, including you, Regina. Take a deep breath
I don't think I can
in.
close them, but I'll try. Let's see.
Just take a deep breath in. Trust yourself. Trust the process.
Okay.
And just allow the sounds to carry you into a deep state of calm and peace.
moment, I had the ocean breeze. I think the next sound was more like bells. It reminded me of Christmas morning. So I think definitely, I'm not overthinking, but that's what I actually.
How did you feel? Was this
actually warm?
You felt warm?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe this is something, can actually do, especially when you don't have to continue with the bulleting and such. So in parting and in closing, you're a doctor, metaphysics and such. Such alternatives are rather frowned upon and termed as cultists, far removed from what we already know, science and such. The place of sound therapy in healing, as we come to a close.
The place of sound therapy in healing. Sound therapy has been supported by science. So lots of research exists out there to prove its benefits. So it's not something that's just come out and been presented. It has a science that backs it. And at the same time, it's one of the most accessible ways of therapy for anybody looking for an alternate, basically.
It is open for children.
For children as young, we've had people children as young as 6 years old in our studio. We've held the elder as old as 72 years old in our studio. And it's a benefit that ranges across the board for everybody, regardless of their age or the illness that they have. Yeah.
So where would we find this?
We are based in the serene environs of Kitusuru. We have our studio there, Kenya's first sound immersion studio. And we are also opening up a second one at Nairobi Jaffrey in Lavington, Jaffrey Sports Club. And we welcome everybody there. In terms of affordability, our sessions start from as low as 2,499. per person or per group. And we're actually starting a new movement in Jaffrey, which is about, it's pay what you can, basically.
Thank you. Well, there you heard it. When it comes to sound therapy, it's an alternative form of healing. It doesn't, complementary, that's the word. Those are the words and conversations by none other than Dr. Alia Datoo, who is a PhD holder in metaphysics and a holistic therapist. I'm Regina Manyara. That puts a cap on our conversation tonight.